Hey guys, and welcome to the week 3 recap video of Sentower International Horse Show. So I have skipped over week 2, one because there's actually a day in the life vlog from week 2, and 2, nothing else actually really happens other than that, so I feel like I would just be like repeating the exact same video. Oh, Welbeck's gone galloping off. I thought she was going to be in the background of the video. So I've skipped straight on to week 3, so if you want to see week 2 you can just watch that day in the life video. I will link it in the description. So week 3 was our last week, so it was definitely kind of like, oh no, like it's over. I was really enjoying it, but I think doing more than 3 weeks of competing for the horses would be too much. I think 3 weeks is just, I think the most you could probably do on one after another. So I'll tell you about the whole week. So on Monday we actually went to Bruges. It was about 2 hours drive. Dad drove, and I've just always wanted to go to Bruges. I really love the movie In Bruges, and it's so beautiful. It actually exceeded expectations, I would say. It was just so beautiful. The buildings, like the architecture, they were just like divine. We had lunch on the river. Unfortunately it was very cold and a little bit windy, but I just really wanted to eat like beside the river, and it felt so like, oh, so nice. So we ate, but then it was so cold we finished our drinks inside. But yeah, it was really nice, and just walking around and seeing all the shops. And yeah, I didn't actually buy anything. I don't know, I just never really buy like touristy things, but now I like regret I don't have something from Bruges. But anyway, so that was our Monday, and then on Tuesday the horses just had like an easy light flower work day. I hand grazed them for quite a while and yeah, they just did like the usual. And then on what day was it? And then on Wednesday was the trot up. So did the trot up, that went all well. Cal, he's so funny, he's always so lazy, and then just in the trot up he's like gets so excited. I'm like, where is this excitement everywhere else? But DALI'S always like very like chill doing the trot ups, which is funny. But I didn't get any videos, unfortunately, because my dad, on the days that there's no competitions, my dad doesn't come to the show, I just do it. So there was no one to video. And then on Thursday, the first day of competing happened. So on week 3 there was actually no 2-star, it was a 3-star instead. So Cal jumped the 3-star, which is my first time doing a 3-star, his first time obviously. So someone did tell me, oh, it is a step up, so just like, they kind of said like the 135 3-star is more like a 2-star 140 and stuff. So I was like, okay. So I decided I would enter him in the 135 the first day and the 140 the second day. And then Dali was in the 7-8-year-old class, and the 8-year-olds is 135 140. So yeah, it was a bit of a step up for the two of them. So on Thursday Dali jumped the 135 8-year-old class, and he was clear, and it was honestly his best round he's ever done to date. He was extremely rideable, everything came up really well, it was very smooth, there was like no kind of hairy moments, all his lead changes were bang on. Yeah, it was just, I was so happy with him. And he jumped the open water, and it was quite a big spooky open water, and he just jumped it straight over, no problem. He was just super. I was so impressed with him, and I was so thrilled with him. And because that went so well, the final was then a good strong 140, and he'd just been jumping for 3 weeks. He jumped lots of clear rounds. So I said, I know like people are gonna be like, what the hell, you just jumped one class that whole week, but I left him on that high note because he was just so good. And it's just been such a long journey with him. I really don't want to do anything to set us back, and he really like exceeded all expectations on this trip. Like to jump that was just super. Like he jumped a couple of 135s in Ireland, but they were like national league shows, so they're quite small, and they're they're nice and they're forgiving and you've loads of time. but to jump around like an international 8-year-old class and clear, it was just so good. So that was his last class of the show, which I was kind of sad about because I love jumping him so much, but I was just I would just have kicked myself if I pushed him a bit too much and then he'd gotten a bad experience and then that was the last class of the show and then we had to go home, you know what I mean? So I just thought it was just best to leave him on that good note. And then on the Thursday, Cal jumped the 135, as I said, in the 140, and he was super, he was clear. I think he was in the money, but not top 10. I think he was just outside top 10, but he still won a few quid. And yeah, so I was very pleased with that. Clear round, straight in, no problem at all. To be honest, I think it was actually fine, even though it was a 3-star. It was, yeah, I think, you know, 135 is 135. They can't make it that much bigger, and they can make it a bit technical, but 135 to Cal is quite, yeah, like an easy height for him. So yeah, it was totally fine. So I was really happy to clear rounds with the boys. And then the next day was Friday. As I said, Dali was finished, so Dali I just rode on the flat and lunged for the next few days. And then Cal jumped the 140, so the 3-star 140, and he was clear again, so I was really happy with him. I did take my time, I didn't go for time or anything, but he was absolutely super. Felt really rideable, really confident, really smooth. Everything came up really well. I think it was probably the best round we had the whole 3 weeks. I think that my riding improved so much over the 3 weeks. I think I mentioned that in the first video, but like the difference between my riding in the first rounds on week 1 and then these rounds, I think I was just riding so much better. And now that I'm making this video, I've been to a show in Ireland, and I feel like I'm still on that good like riding, like the rhythm's really strong, everything comes up really well, I'm feeling really confident. I think it's just like made a huge difference to my riding, so I really hope that continues because we have Mullingar International next week, so I'm hoping that this has set us up very well for that. So yeah, a clear round in the 140 and the 3-star as well, so I was really pleased with him. So basically we didn't jump that many rounds in the last week, but they were all clear, and that's the main thing. And then on the Saturday, I actually went to the Netherlands, and I went to the stud that, so it's kind of a long story, but when we bred Cal, he is the first horse we've ever bred. The stallion is Ustenhof, and he was standing in a stud in the Netherlands. And my dad went to visit Ustenhof because my dad was like doing work in Brussels or something, and it's quite close to Brussels. Oh, not really that close actually, but a few hours from Brussels. So dad went up and visited Ustenhof, and this was years ago. Like Cal is 10 now, so it was 11 years ago that we bred him, I suppose. So my dad always talks about, I went to visit him. So Ustenhof is unfortunately not at that stud anymore. He's actually at a stud in England, but Dali's sire Van Gogh is at that stud. So I said, you know what, I'm sick of dad bragging about how he got to see this stud. So I was like, I have a day off, I'm gonna go and drive. So I drove, I think it was 3 and a bit hours, was it? I think something like that. I drove to see him. So I'm on my way to, I was going to say the Netherlands, but I'm actually already in the Netherlands. But I'm on my way to a stud called, I'm going to butcher this, De SETBACK. It is actually the very first stud that we ever used to breed a mare, and we used their stallion at the time, Ustenhof, to breed Cal. And then Dad went back there and used Van Gogh to Prix Dali. So it's very exciting to go back and see it all. I've actually never been there, but Dad has. I've just got some fuel, I got some snacks, got like smoothie, little falafel wrap, some sweet treats, and yeah, I have about 2 more hours left to go, so I will maybe hopefully take some clips when I get there. But yeah, I'm really excited. And it was so nice. The drive was amazing. The Netherlands is like so beautiful. I have never been, I don't think, and I feel like you see pictures in the Netherlands like with the canals, like the rivers and the trees, and the fields are so beautiful, and I was like, well, yeah, we all see pictures of countries and they don't actually look like that, but the Netherlands did. It was so beautiful. I really enjoyed the drive. And then I went to the stud, and they were really nice. They let me have a complete just snoop and look around, which was very nice of them. And then they showed me all the stallions that they have there and gave me some ideas for who I might use this year on our mares. So that was quite exciting. Yeah, so that is, I'll leave a link to their website in the description if you want to check out the stallions there. They still have Van Gogh, and he's still available for breeding if anyone wanted to use him. They have a sibling to Dali. But yeah, it was really fun. I got to obviously meet Van Gogh and got a little picture with him and have a look around. It was so lovely. So that was my Saturday. And then Sunday obviously wasn't jumping, but I did watch the Grand Prix. It was a 3-star Grand Prix, so it was 1.55 meters. It was nice and beefy, but fingers crossed I will get there one day. I will be jumping that one day. It was really fun to watch, and the weather was so lovely, and just sat out on the grass and watched that, which was really enjoyable. And then obviously in and around all this, I'm feeding the horses and riding them and lunging them, etc, etc. They have not been forgotten, I promise. And yeah, and then we went to, and then on Monday it was time to go home. So Sunday evening I got the passports back off the office. I paid the bill, which wasn't that fun. And I am going to do a video about all the costs, like for the ferry, the show, etc, etc. If anyone's interested in doing one of these shows and going abroad, like, it's very doable, but it is quite expensive. So I thought I would just go through that and just be very transparent and honest, because I wish someone had done that before I went, because I was very much like kind of guesstimating how much this would cost. But anyway, so I will do that if you guys are interested at all in that. And yeah, so on Monday then we went to our layover stop in France. It's the same place we stayed on the way to Belgium, and it was just as beautiful. We got the same accommodation again. It was just so gorgeous. I had a good walk around the grounds because our ferry was delayed. I think I'm cursed. Anyway, our ferry was delayed just by 1 day, so that was fine. And luckily the place in France had vacancy for 2 nights instead of 1 night. So I stayed there an extra night. Me and Dad stayed there an extra night. And yeah, it was really nice. And it meant I got to like really see the place properly, and the weather was lovely. And yeah, it was so nice. Oh, you know what else we did on the Monday night? The Aloga auction was on. It's actually on in Sentower, but we had to leave, and you have to buy tables to go to it. It's quite like an elite auction, I would say. And we watched the horses sell for multiple millions of euros. That was quite entertaining. Dad and I were like trying to guess how much they would go for before they sold, and like we had no idea. So that was really fun. So we watched that and had a glass of wine. And then on the Tuesday, we were meant to get the ferry, but then it was delayed, so we just hung out. And then on the Wednesday we got the ferry home, and we arrived home on Thursday. The horses settled right back in. They were in a quarantine field for 2 weeks. They are still in it. They can interact with the other horses now, but I just wanted to keep them well away, especially with like Welbeck being in foal. There's a few viruses and stuff like equine herpes virus you can just pick up in Europe, bring them home, and then your mare aborts. Not good. So anyway, I'm just really anal about like keeping them very separate if they've been away, and try and keep the competition horses very separate to definitely the brood mares and then also the young horses. So yeah, home sweet home. The boys were delighted to get out into a field, although in France they were just living in a field basically for 2 days, and they were so happy. And I think that really helped as well, helped their mindset, helped break up the journey. They had no ill effects to the journey at all. The ferry on the way home was pretty smooth. Hello, Mr. Dali. He says, I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. Hello. Look at all the rain we have. Like a little staple. Good boy. Oh, you're so good. There you are. They travelled really, really well. We were in the Overlander horse box again. It was just perfect. And then yeah, they got home Thursday, we all got home, and then Friday I brought the horse box back because it was just a higher one. Unfortunately, it was so nice. Brought that back to the N7 commercial centre in Nice. That's where I rented it from. And that was it. That was the end of the journey. Oh my god, I can't believe it's over. I like spent so many weeks like stressing and planning about this, and then it actually just went so smoothly, and it was just like so calm, and there was no stress at all. So good to know. I definitely will be more calm next time, but I don't think there's any overseas trips in the plans for us this year. As I said, quite expensive. I saved for this one, but that's kind of all I had saved for. So we will do Mullingar International, maybe Mill Street International, and yeah, that's it. And then maybe next year we'll see what the future holds. So that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. It was a very fun trip. I'm sorry I didn't kind of vlog more as I went along, but I was really just like I was very busy, and it's hard to vlog when you're feeding and riding and, you know, doing it all. So yeah, and it was also very repetitive days, so I thought it's gonna get kind of boring. Anyway, these are just excuses, aren't they? It's just I'm not very good at balancing like being at the show and vlogging. But yeah, I will see you in the next video, which might be the cost one, although I don't know if I want to add up how much I spent on this. But anyway, we move. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you next time.